So this week you do another radio commercial, and it's going to be a little different from your last one because this time you can talk about a product that you have or a made-up product that I'll go into. So we're going to go over really quick how to write a commercial for radio. Determine your target audience. Who is this product for? Who is it serving? Grab your listener's attention. That's going to be your opening line, your hook, or whatever it is that you're starting with the commercial with. Because again, your listeners are busy, just like you guys always busy. Examine the problem and your solution. Always introduce the problem and always introduce your product as the solution. For instance, if you have really bad back pain, this back brace is going to solve all your problems. Fourth is keep it simple. Again, don't over like categorize words. Don't like go crazy when it comes to it. The person who's driving the car and the person in the car seat should understand what your commercial is about. That is a big gap. I want to make sure that you understand that because it's very important. The person who's driving and the kid in the car seat to understand what your product and your commercial is about. If you can get both of them, that means your writing is clear and simple. Lastly, include a call to action. So, what is a call to action? If you ever heard somebody say, buy now, subscribe, order now, stop in, come by, those are calls to action. They are telling you to do an action, which is buy, come in, subscribe, like, etc. When I was in school in this class, my teacher did not want us to have call to actions, which was very difficult and odd. That's why I didn't have you have a call to action for the food thing. So now you're going to have a call to action. Actually, putting that barrier up was very difficult when it came to this, but I didn't want to do the same thing because it was kind of like, what's the point? So I want you to do with the food. So those are the 5 things. We're going to go over target audience real quick. Find the people you think will benefit most from your product. That should make sense. If I'm selling sunblock at the beach, it's pretty easy. I'm selling sunblock in the closet or in the dark, it's not going to be as easy to sell. So find the people that you think will benefit most from your product. Then you how to find those people. You look through Facebook groups, you can read reviews, you can look at other social media streams for customers. You can analyze competitors, which is a big one. So something that I like to do, especially in news, everyone does it. When you go into the newsroom, there's usually several TVs and everyone's tuned in to other news stations because if there is, for instance, for instance, for the terrorist who rented a U-Haul truck and slammed into all those cyclists in New York City, I think in Soho or Hoboken, Soho, I think. I don't know. I covered it. It was a long time ago. Our news station had all the other news stations up to see what kind of elements they got for the report, so they can call me and said, "Hey, Ken, Channel 2 got the mother of one of the victims. She's at so and so hospital. See if you can go get her." So they're analyzing competitors to see what we can offer our viewers when it comes to the news service. So analyzing competitors will help you find your customers. Also, create personas. Does everyone know what a persona is? It's okay if you don't. So I'm going to create one for you right now in a second at the end of this slide, but we're going to get back to this. But creating personas is likely the most helpful out of all of these and who you want to target your product for. So moving on. Problem you are solving. Clear problem that your product is solving. We went over that. If there's no problem, why do I need your product? If I don't need sunblock, why am I going to buy it? So make me need this product, just like your iPhone, like with the navigation when it came to actually not your iPhone, your Apple Watch. Their newest bit with the Apple Watch Ultra was that this has navigation. This can save you in a scenario where you could be falling off a cliff and your old watch can't do that anymore. They created a scenario where you would need that product. I don't know how many of you go rock climbing or find yourselves out in the desert in the middle of nowhere that you need GPS with satellites, but they created that problem, they created a solution, and they also created this FOMO of if you're ever in trouble and you don't have this watch, you're going to stay in trouble. But if you are in trouble and you have this watch, it'll likely help you get out. Create a scenario. So that's one of the examples they used. Apple used that, you're on a bike trail, you're biking through a mountain, you fall, you get hurt. How do you call for help? Well, your watch can do half the work for you. So they created a scenario there. So that's the big thing. And this is all encompassing under storytelling, which is going to be a very, very important class that we'll have in a couple like sessions that it's literally going to be the most like it's going to help your life the most. Storytelling is like my biggest strength and how I was able to propel so far so quickly, which I'm going to pass on to you because storytelling is everything. Everyone likes to use storytelling in their LinkedIn as a buzzword, but they can't write their way out of a paper bag or they can't storytell at all. It's really pathetic. But you guys at the end of this course will be great storytellers. Next, keep it simple. Speak their language. So if I'm selling you an iPhone, I'm going to say there's more apps in the store than ever. I'm going to say the glass is super resilient. I'm going to use terminology and stuff that that person understands. If I'm selling a computer to a person who is a computer enthusiast. Like I say, the GPU is really powerful. The CPU is great. The cooling is amazing. I'm using terminology that they know because they're in that space. So speak their language. Now, I understand that if I use that kind of language, I might miss out on other people understanding my product. But again, I created a persona. I'm talking to them. They're the one that's most likely going to open their wallets and buy your product. So speak their language. It's okay to use slang. I prefer you don't curse, but if you want to, go for it. You guys are adults, do whatever you want, but speak the customer's language. Second, consider what the customer might be doing in the moment they are listening to your commercial. So this is super important. A lot of these commercials that you might hear on the radio might be in the morning, and they'll say, as you're hurrying to work, or while you're waking up, or while you're sitting and having breakfast. What they're doing is they're examining what their customer is doing in the moment of your commercial. So if it's at 8 a.m., they're likely getting ready for work or getting dressed. If it's at 8 a.m., they're unlikely putting their babies to sleep for the night. It makes sense. And this is really great because we use this in news a lot because oftentimes, not oftentimes, but sometimes you'll hear a plane derailed while you were asleep because it happened at 2 a.m. Instead of me saying it happened at 2 a.m. while you're asleep. Because then the viewer's like, yeah, I was asleep. What happened? So it kind of just breaks that barrier of I'm a commercial, you're a person. It's more like I understand what you're doing in your life when you're hearing this information. Don't use big words. You know how much I don't like them. Big words are not necessary. Keep it short and use imagery in your words. So a lot of you did this. I don't know who it was, but one of the things that got me in this radio spot when it came to the food was haters will call it rabbit food, but carrots or celery are really good for you. And I thought that was a fantastic line because it's imagery. Haters will call it rabbit food. So I imagine someone eating this celery or carrots and someone's like, hey, you're eating rabbit food because they painted that image in my mind. So using imagery in your words is super important. We're going to go over this in a couple sessions, but I'll give you a little teaser. Good writing. If you're writing a book, if you're writing a novel, if you're writing a sentence, if you're writing an email, writing whatever, and you want someone to really enjoy what they're reading or listening to, show, don't tell. And I'll give you an example. Okay. Chris Sperano had goosebumps and never felt the breeze feel so harsh. His jacket might as well been on the rack because it wasn't working the way it was supposed to. Let me ask you guys, is he in a hot or cold situation? Cold, right? I didn't say he was cold, but I used showing, not telling, to let your mind do the work around it to create that scenario. And that's what you need to do when it comes to imagery in your words. Now, if you'll notice, people do that everywhere. The best authors, Harry Potter, I don't know if you guys ever read it. I haven't read it, but like Harry Potter, they use all that stuff. Every book that you read, like she felt the hair stand up in her neck. That can mean so many things. And then they go into more context of what that means. But they don't just say she was nervous. She was cold. She was angry. He balled up his fist and slammed it on the table so hard that the candles shook. That means he's pissed. I don't have to say it, but I'm using those words because I'm showing and not telling. And when you do that, your viewer and your listener will be like, wow, this is fantastic. Because people, whether you like it or not, I have this argument with my boss all the time because I am very good at writing. He is very bad at writing. That's the story of my life. But he likes to spoon feed our viewers. Like he likes to just tell them, this was the man who is very bad. And I like to say he killed 40 children and then went on to kill their dogs. Do I have to say he's bad? Do I have to say that? Or can the viewer kind of put those things together and realize that might not be a good guy? Right? So I like to do that. He likes the old fashioned way, which is the wrong way. I digress. So use imagery in your words. That was a really harsh example, by the way. So sorry, but I'm a hard news person, so it happens. All right. Example. So this is what your project is going to look like for Tuesday or Thursday. You guys like the Thursday deadline, right? So you could just put it off to the end and then not have to worry about it. It's less anxiety that way. So I'll do Thursday for you guys, which is fine. So example of what yours is going to look like. Product. My product is imaginary. Again, you can do an imaginary product. I don't care what it is. Game and watch. Function. Babysitting service for new parents who don't want to give up video games, so someone watches their children while they play video games. Okay? Demo. Who's my demographic? Who's my target audience? New fathers and mothers ages 20 to 40. Persona. Ken is a 35-year-old father of three. He has the weekend to himself and wants the game, but he needs a sitter. Enter Game and Watch sitters. Okay? Catchphrase. I want you guys to make up a catchphrase because they're fun. Catchphrases are fun and they can be fun. So have fun with it. Elite supervision for new parents. Boom. That's our catchphrase. And then you have your audio commercial on the bottom with your MP3, whatever it is. So this is what your thing should look like. I also didn't include a time, which I'm gonna leave out because you guys already understand where actually, you know what? No, we'll leave the time out. But this is what it should look like when you guys submit it into the discussions by Thursday at 9 p.m. Does this make sense? Yes. Okay. Um, would any of you guys be interested in this product if it was real? Probably not. You can say no because you guys aren't new parents. You see, you guys aren't at my demo. But make sure that this would hit for your demo. The persona is there. I made up a guy named Ken, 35 years old, father of three, wake up to himself, but he needs a sitter. Boom. Function, what your product is, product, Game and Watch, whatever, catchphrase, elite supervision for new parents. I actually would reverse this catchphrase to new parents, elite supervision, because new parents is more of a hook than elite supervision, because that feels more like I've heard that before. But new parents is like a phrase you don't often hear, so that might get the person's ear better than elite supervision first. And that's just something that I'm noticing now. And then your audio, Game and Watch, MP3, whatever. This is going to be 15 seconds. 15 seconds long. I didn't add that, but let me add that now. 15 seconds audio commercial. Boom. So it's gonna be 15 seconds long and not a second past that. Just 15 seconds in, out. And I should know when you guys are like who you're targeting and stuff like that. It should be pretty simple. Does anyone have any questions? Because I'm gonna end the class like in 5 minutes. I really wanted to have a short class because why not? I think you guys are pretty prepared. Hey Shay, how are you? Hey, hi. What's up? I just went over the assignment. This slide will be up in a little bit, but I'm pretty much ending the class now. Um, so 50-second audio commercial. Again, on your phone, product can be whatever you want. It can be made up, it can be real. I don't care. The product name is up there. Yep. Okay, so no questions, right? Does everyone feel comfortable with this? Is there anything in here that you want me to explain again? No. All right, so you guys want to go enjoy your Saturday? Okay. Well, go enjoy it then.